The sutra says, Shakti Chakra Sandhane Vishwa Sangharah. When the movement of Shakti happens, then the world comes to an end. Shakti Chakra Sandhane Vishwa Sangharah. The cycle of Shakti, the play of Shiva's energy, is the ending, the dissolution of the world. What does this mean? To understand this, we'll have to first see what does Shakti, Shiva, Vishwa and Sanghar, what do all these terms stand for? Shiva is the heart, the very center, the seat of all honesty in us. Shakti is right action, action emanating from the right center, the center of truth, the center of honesty. The question then is, what would right action do to a world built from the false center? The word used is Vishwa. That which we perceive, that which we assume ourselves to be living in. What is all that? And why is it being said that when Shiva dances, then our world comes to an end? The dance of Shiva is the dance of truth. What does it say about our world if it is said that the dance of truth is the ending of our world? I'm asking you, what would the truth bring to an end? Ignorance. Falseness, ignorance. So if the truth is bringing that to an end, which we call as the world, what does that tell about that, our world? It is a world of illusion, ignorance and falseness. Those who are attached to the world may forget all about Shiva. Those who are attached to their ideas, perceptions, ego, relationships and have great stakes in the continuation of this world may just give up on Shiva. You need not read any further. For Shiva is not for those who give the world the highest priority. Shiva is only for those whose highest priority is Shiva himself. In fact, if you are attached to the world, then the one thing that you would most strongly resist is Shiva himself. And Shiva here stands for the self, the Atman, Brahm, truth itself. Now does that explain why we find ourselves opposing that which is divine and right on so many occasions? Attached to the falseness, obviously you would end up opposing that which is true. The author of this simple sutra does not offer us any consolations. He makes no bones about the simple fact that when Shakti dances, then we come to an end. Our entire world, and along that with we too come to an end. So those who like themselves, those who feel that everything is all right with them, cannot even begin the spiritual journey. For the spiritual journey begins with a recognition of a certain unease in the mind. Those who are so insensitive that they can't even perceive that they are restless, or those who don't have the honesty to admit that their lives, ideas, thoughts are all smeared with fear and doubt, will not be able to even step into self-inquiry. So to step into self-inquiry is to invite Shiva to step into your life. Then your action will not be your action. Then your action will be the action of Shakti. And when Shakti dances, the author is very straightforwardly telling us this world comes to an end. Now, what would you rather have? The world or Shiva? For most of us, the choice is obvious. We have such investments in the world that Shiva can go take a break. Shiva can wait, for he is supposed to be eternal and immortal. Right? So we say, Shiva, you stand postponed. The world is more important. It cannot be suspended. Do we see how in matters of daily living, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, right now, that which is trivial becomes the most important for us? And what is the logic we use to console ourselves? We say, let me first finish the trivial, then I will move to the important. Is that not our pet logic? We keep postponing that which is the most important, that which is Shiva, to the future. We keep saying, right now is the time for mundane worldly affairs. The truth can come a little later. Now we do not say that we are disregarding the truth. We do not accept that we have given the priority belonging to truth to something else. Instead, we just say that it is because that the truth is so important, so I am postponing it. It is because love is so dear to me that I am postponing it. Let me first finish off the daily chores. Let me first wind up all the affairs in the office. And then, darling, we shall find a few moments of love. Have you not heard this? Let's take a loving vacation 3 months hence. And what is it that never gets postponed? What is it that our lives are totally full of? This and that. Washing, cleaning, eating, attending, maintaining relationships, servicing the car, gossiping, replying to emails, maintaining social networks. Shopping, then paying the bills. Running debts, then wondering about the interest. Now this is something that never gets postponed. Because if this gets postponed, then we get legal notices. The truth keeps on getting postponed. And when the truth comes, all that is trivial, all that deserves to be set afire, indeed reduces to ashes. Spirituality is not an attainment, it is a dissolution. One does not go to Shiva to get peace. Shiva can offer you no peace. One does not go to the truth to get truth. Truth can offer you no truth. One goes to Shiva to burn all that away which is the barrier to peace. Peace is your nature. You cannot get it from anywhere. Shiva is Shiva because his dance is the dance of destruction. He will destroy all that which stands between you and peace. Truth is truth, not because it provides truth. Truth, if it is truth, is already there. Nothing but the truth is. When you go close to truth, you do not get truth. You lose falseness. Now, if you are afraid of losing, then you may continue being what you are. Then you need not bother yourself with even beginning the journey. Only if you are honest about your life, only if you can stare the facts of daily living in the face and see that you are fed up of them, and see that you do not want anymore to be the same person, that you must even look at Shiva. Otherwise, we can continue to waddle in the same rubbish that we call as the world. Anything on this sutra? We won't move ahead till we are sure that we have had the most of this sutra as per our capacity. Yes, please.
It says Shakti Chakra Sanghamaya.
The movement.
Application in the translation. One who applies his total energy. It implies that there is some action required on our part.
When you read his total energy, then you must understand that only the truth is total. Everything else is partial. So his total energy stands for the energy of Shiva, who alone is total. His total energy is Shakti. So one who applies his total energy simply means one who lets Shakti dance into his life. Because your energy is always partial. Total energy comes only from there or here, whatever, whichever way you want to point. Total is the key word.
So then it implies surrender.
Surrender, wonderful. But you won't surrender something if you still find it useful, would you? If you still see utility and pleasure in something, why would you yet surrender it? You would say, I still want to keep consuming it. Spirituality is only for those who firstly have the sensitivity to feel that something is amiss. that the music of life is not available to them, that something is calling from afar, but they are unable to listen clearly to it, that something most wonderful, most free, most loving is available yet elusive. It is only for those. And it doesn't end here. Not only do you need to have the sensitivity to feel this way, then you must also have the courage to live up to what you are feeling. Many of us, even though they understand that life is missing on the vital, they continue living in the trivial because they do not have the courage to move towards the vital, to embrace the vital. They continue with the trivial. Yes. Yes, please.
It seems that this one can surrender to Shiva is something special, like some part of us, of me, of I, is maybe some special, some pure part. When we speak about this one can surrender, maybe also survive destruction as well, because maybe it's pure enough to receive Shiva or to receive what is after the world is being destroyed.
We are special. The one who surrenders is not special at all. We are special. Surrender is our ordinary simple nature. One lives in surrender, like the river, like the bird, like everything else in existence. We are special because we think that we are unique individuals, because we cherish our individuality, our distinct identities. We are special because our sense of being is linked to that which makes us special. Go close to this. Whenever you think of yourself, whenever you have to bring yourself forward, what do you think of yourself? How will you describe yourself? How do you know yourself as? You will say, you belong to such nationality. You will say, you belong to such a religion. You will say, you are the holder of such educational degrees. You will say, you are the owner of such bank balance. You will say, such are your relationships. Now, each of these is a speciality. What is something special? That which is not general. Special is that which is not general. Do we ever describe ourselves in terms of the general? Look at the river. Here, each current is a general current. It has no individual name, identity, or story. The story of the current is the story of the river itself. There is nothing special here. There is just the total flow. But with us, there is always something special. Beginning with our name. It's a distinctive name, is it not? When your name is called, only you respond. It is a special name. Surrender means seeing the stupidity of all that is special about us. Once you have seen that everything that you hold as your distinctive feature, as something probably to be proud of or ashamed of, that is where your hell lies. If there is something special about you, notice that you cannot ignore it. you will either be proud of it or ashamed of it. It is by definition special. It is by definition something that is tied to your identity and hence important. Whatever is important about you is your curse. Whatever swells you up and whatever deflates you down is the barrier between you and Shiva. To surrender is to live like the river. To surrender is to flow like the wind. There is nothing special at all about the surrendered one. What has he surrendered? He has surrendered all that which was special about him. So how can anything special be left with him? Spirituality is a movement into ordinariness. You drop all that which makes you unique, distinct, extraordinary. And if you have come to spirituality to feel even more extraordinary, then you will distort spirituality to suit your self-interest.
So who remains after all the special things?
Shiva.
But is Shiva, is it different here than there?
Differences are surrendered.
Nothing extraordinary about someone who surrenders. But in a world in which everyone thinks is extraordinary, the people who are surrendering will be the extraordinary, the real extraordinary people.
The real extraordinary one is the one who no more seeks to be extraordinary. When everyone wants to be extraordinary, then the desire to become extraordinary is a very ordinary desire. Or is it not? You want to become something, he wants to become something, she wants to become something. We all want to reach somewhere. And we all want, in our own minds and our capacities, to reach a position of extraordinariness, which makes all of it so ordinary. Ordinary not in the sense of Zen, ordinary not in the sense of Shiva, ordinary in the sense of mediocrity. When I use the word ordinary in the sense of truth, I mean pure and simple. And when I use the word ordinary in the sense of society, then I mean mediocre, corrupted, adulterated.
Honesty about suffering or agitation. So if I admit to myself, if I'm willing to acknowledge that my mind is agitated, that I'm craving something, have aversion to something else, and both of these things, the thing I'm craving is not here, the thing I have an aversion to is here, and I'm acknowledging all of these things, and I realize, oh, I'm unhappy, but then wouldn't surrender be, oh, I'm unhappy and there's no way that I should be other than how I am, and then I can find peace. So,
but it is not this statement. Statement of surrender is not surrender. What you have said is kind of a proxy. It is likable. It sounds nice. But it is not surrender itself. Surrender itself will not be a statement that alright, it is bad, but this is what it is. It is there in the quality of that moment. It is there in the acknowledgement itself, and that acknowledgement is not a thought, is not a conclusion or a statement. It is there. You don't even have time to formulate a statement. All statements take time to come. You don't have that time. You cannot surrender retrospectively.
How can I make it happen naturally?
By not trying to make it happen. The more you try to make it happen, the more the doer will be present. And it is the doer that has to be surrendered. So the more you try for it, the more you try to maintain yourself.
Someone who thinks he was born to make a difference, develop, make his mark. So he decided to use others. So he surrendered in the devotion of serving others, helping others achieve their goals, finding their passion.
One surrenders otherness. So how can the surrendered one work for others? Only the one who has not surrendered sees others. This perception that there are others is the first thing to be surrendered. The otherness. Kindly drop this notion that you can surrender and then work for others. There are no others. This is the thing to be surrendered. When you say there are others, then by definition you are self-centered. You are saying there is me and there are others. Now on top of this separation, you want to put a well-meaning intention. But that well-meaning intention comes after the separation. You are saying there is me and then there is the rest of the universe. There are others. There is Ram, Ramesh, Tom, Harry, and there is me. So what has come first? The separation between me and others. Now, after you have made the others separate, you are saying, I love you. What kind of game is this? Firstly, you are saying you are separate. Now you are saying, I want to work for your welfare. Why did you then make them separate? Take them as yourself. And when you take them as yourself, then you first of all see that you are the universe. And spirituality is about, first of all, self-inquiry. Take care of yourself, the universe will take care of itself. Great acts of welfare get done through the simple spiritual man, but he is never working for the sake of others. Others greatly benefit through his presence, but he will never say that I am going there for others. The moment he says it is for others, he has spoilt everything. Work first of all for yourself. You want to help others. Have you been able to help yourself first? You want to say you want to do good to others. Do you first of all know what is meant by good? Have you been able to bring it to your own life? When I do not know what goodness means, when I do not know what help means, then in the name of goodness, help and welfare, I will only end up doing disservice to others. So do not even try that. Leave the others and leave otherness. Take care of yourself first.
For me, this idea, like, there is no separation. So,
There is?
this idea, there is no separation in truth. So we are all the same. For me,
No, not the same. We are very different, yet one.
okay, that sounds different.
We are very different, yet one. We are different in the sense that we all hold ourselves to be special. So you are A, he is B, I am C. And we are one in the sense that our tendency to be different is one. It is not as if we are all one. If you get hurt, I don't feel the pain really. Do I? You bleed, I don't. But when I get hurt, I too bleed. This bleeding makes us one. You confine yourself to your silo. I confine myself to my silo. Our silos are different, but our tendency is to confine ourselves is one. In that sense, all mankind is one. When you understand your own tendency to live in a silo, then you understand the disease of the entire world. A silo means a bracket, a confinement. Any narrow space. When we understand that we have a tendency to draw boundaries around us, then we also understand why the world is divided in such a way. If I do not understand my own tendencies, how will I understand the world? Because the world and me are one. Why are nations divided? Because you and your brother are divided. Is there any difference between these divisions?
Sorry to ask again, but if,
No, you must not be sorry firstly. It is most welcome.
for me, if the tendency is if I sit in meditation, become silent, if my mind is not working, there is still somebody there beyond the mind, the individual, very clear.
Yes.
It is beautiful actually. There is an individual and there are more individuals. Different but beautiful at the same time.
If there are still differences, then there is no meditation. First of all, one cannot sit in meditation. Second, one cannot become silent. Sitting in meditation means you are confining meditation to an activity. Sitting in meditation means that when you are standing, you are no more meditative. So there is nothing called sitting in meditation or having a particular pose of meditation. Meditation is either there spanning across time or it is not there at all. It cannot be confined to a particular time, place, pose or asana. Secondly, you cannot become silence. Silence is not a matter of becoming. Silence is not an achievement. Silence is a matter of unbecoming. You can become a policeman, you can become a rock star, you can become an astronaut, but you cannot become silent. Becoming silent is an oxymoron. You have to return to your original silence, which means unbecoming, which means a giving up, a dropping. So in case you are practicing meditation, kindly understand that the practice itself is the barrier between you and meditation. Nobody can practice meditation. It is a falseness by its very definition. If you are learning silence or practicing compassion, kindly see the absurdity in the whole effort. One can laugh at it, right? Like this.
Is there something that the doer can do?
The do.
Come closer to not to do. If there is one intelligent thing that the doer can do, what would that be?
Laugh. The doer must never take himself seriously. Never.
Think of self-deception. You go doing something all this time, you get self-deception. You don't know, you think it's right. Everyone around you think it's wrong. You don't want to listen to them because simply you think you're special.
I know what is right for me. How do you know how my life is? That kind of stuff. What to do with it? It exists.
How to stop it?
By seeing that it is stupid. Would you carry on with something if you know it is stupid?
But it's not that simple and easy.
It is very simple and easy if you are prepared to ease down a little. If you are prepared to come down from your mighty throne. We sit at the highest thrones possible. We have displaced God. If you can come down a little, then you can see that it's also absurd. Anybody here who takes himself lightly, and if such a one is there, then it will be very simple for him to surrender, to understand, and the rest of it. We experience fear, right? Do you see why we experience fear? Fear means I will lose something valuable. Which in turn means, first of all, you have something valuable. Now the beggar is greatly afraid of being robbed. Do you see the various ways in which we put ourselves on the throne? I have something valuable. The world wants to rob it. So I'm afraid. Taking yourself lightly means not being afraid. Not being afraid and also not being greedy. Because there is nothing great that I can attain. So I can walk lightly. We take this entire matter of living too seriously. We can't ask questions. We can't smile. Dancing requires preparation. We walk as if we are walking on sand. Heavy footsteps.
I see somebody is meditating. I don't know how to sit now. I am finished.
Not acting will not mean that action has to be shunned or dropped. The spiritual mind goes into action with the right intensity, with the right energy. It may even mean that if it is needed, it goes fully into action. It dedicates all thought, all energy, all experience, all power available to it to the service of the moment. In the name of detachment, it does not live a sapless and energyless life. You'll find the spiritual mind aptly immersed, sometimes so very immersed in action that you may even feel that he is the actor. But even in the middle of action, he would still have something which is not acting. A point of stillness, a center, unflappable, untouchable, unreachable. He will not be lukewarm. Lukewarm, not intense, not fully, not mediocre, not mediocre. He will not be choosing any kind of middle path. He will not be living a compromised life. Even when he will be in full contact with activity, yet you will find him composed within. And that is why he will have the capacity to enter a lot of activity. When you know that activity cannot break you, tire you down, or corrupt you, then you do not hesitate to take up activity. Most of us are shy of action, the right action, because we are afraid that action will shake us up, that action may even break us. The spiritual mind is not at all shy of the intensity of action, the direction of action, or the repercussion of action. He does not attach any names to the quality of action, and therefore he has no shame. Please let us not make an image of the non-actor. The non-actor will look to be acting greatly. In the garb of non-action, let us not become lazy. Let us not escape away, because that very frequently happens. Complete participation in life at the right unmovable center. That's all.
It is out of context. Yesterday we were talking about when we were at the games. We were talking about dropping out. We need no more beginnings but endings. You are just saying that participation into life is important. So what is the difference between dropping out and escaping from out?
Escaping means another beginning, because we never escape from everything. Once we escape from something, we immediately begin another thing. In fact, we never escape from something unless we have the support of another thing. Do you ever run away to nowhere? Do you ever say, I'm running away to nowhere? You may run away from your house, your country, your situations, but you always have a destination, some other place to go to.
Or the destination is just, I want to run.
Yes. So that is what is escaping. An escape is just a change in circumstances, which is no change. The suffering is still there. Dropping out means escaping away to nowhere. I'm going. And where are you going to? No, I'm not going to anywhere. I'm just going away. Where would I go to? That let the flow decide. All I know is that this must end. All I know is that this cycle that I'm trapped in, this must end. I do not know what must begin or whether anything must begin. That is dropping out. Dropping out does not care for a shelter, a refuge, an alternative accommodation. It says this is not right and I have the guts to give it up without arranging a substitute.
Another safety nest.
Yes. So it is the courage to quit without having a safety net.
Quit what?
You don't like your job and you are waiting to get the next job and only then you will resign. This is not dropping out. To drop out means I don't like this, and just as the water doesn't flow to places it does not like, I won't go to the office that I don't like. It doesn't matter whether I have the next job offer in hand or not. I don't like it, I'm not going there. Does the water ever flow to a higher place? Do birds go to places they must not go? Even an ant knows where to go to. Why must I go to places that kill me? That is dropping out. But what do? Wait till you have something alternate in hand. And then you will compare and negotiate and then leave the previous thing, which is no leaving at all.
One sees that there is a particular aspect of life that has indeed become a burden upon the mind, and it has cultivated, got cultivated enough to become a heavy load. One wants to put it down, but when one thinks of putting it down, the mind automatically starts thinking of other things that it should pick up. So this, for sure, this is not dropping out. But does that mean that the load should not be put down?
You must put it down. All that is being said is that if you will put it down, only by choosing something else, then you have not really put it down.
Yeah.
You will need to then put that down as well. At some other point in time maybe. But you are just postponing your misery. You are not quitting your misery. Udyamo Bhairav. Action, effort or endeavor is the dance of Bhairav. Bhairav is Shiva. Action is rightful and meaningful only when it comes right from the heart, right from the center. And then action has the quality of dance. The other day we were talking and I asked you what is the difference between dancing and walking. And what did you say?
Walking has a goal, dancing is just a joy.
So Shiva's dance has no goal. Shiva's dance is a destructive dance of joy that destroys what? All goals.
What?
All goals. When Shiva dances, goals are what get destroyed. Udyam also means effort. Your effort has to be like a dance. Your effort cannot look like labor. Your effort should not come from a position of exertion. Outwardly, bodily, you might get tired, but the psyche must never get tired. You get tired not only physically, but also mentally. The spiritual mind never gets tired, even though the body might be crashing around it. It still remains fresh, even when it has been through a stretch of time. It has not allowed time to corrupt it, so that tiredness does not come to it. It is still so fresh. Remember what I said about remaining healthy in the middle of disease, about remaining fresh in the middle of tiredness. Oh, I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. Yet, I'm very fresh. Very fresh. That is the hallmark of right action, right effort. It is goalless in the beginning, and at the end, you find it has not tired you down. When it begins, there is no goal, and when it pauses, there is no fatigue. Yes? As soon as the body is ready, you too are again ready. The body needs a certain recharging, let the body have it. The moment the body has it, let's play again.
So that means that if we have, for example, a job which tire our mind,
Yes,
we have
yes.
to change the job.
Yes.
Okay.
If you are not thinking of having another job as a substitute, then the moment you realize that you must change your job, you've already changed it. You're already out of it. Are you getting it? It
What
is
you doing?
one delays it only if one is waiting for something else. Otherwise, there is no delay. The moment you realize you're out of it. So if you have realized you're no more in the job.
Yeah.
Gone.
Sure.
Now the music. Jnana dhishtanam matrika. The basis, the foundation, the substratum of consciousness, which is knowledge, is the mother, the origin. Atman is the mother of mind. Awareness is the mother of consciousness. The source is the Atman. The manifestation is Prakriti. Prakriti, this existence.
Manifestation, yeah.
The manifestation, the expression.
Yeah.
So, do not swell up with knowledge, because the mother of knowledge, the one who is at the basis of knowledge, the one superior to knowledge, is somebody else, something else. And knowledge cannot take you to something superior to itself, something beyond itself. Remember the adhishthan. Adhishthan meaning the foundation. The foundation of knowledge is not more knowledge. Knowledge implies consciousness. Knowledge implies mind, the world. They do not arise from themselves. If you look at anything in the world and keep going backwards, will you finally reach a thing? No, you will have to keep going backwards and you will reach nowhere. The first cause of this universe is not something in the universe. The cause of the mind does not lie in the mind itself. The cause of all this is something that has not been caused. Whatever you look in the universe is a caused thing. You can go back in time and figure out the reason why it exists. Why do you exist? Your parents were there. Why were they there? Somebody else was there. And why and why and why? And ultimately you will have to answer the unanswerable. The unanswerable is the mother, the source. That is why the translation says the ununderstood. That is what I am calling as the unreasonable, the unanswerable, the unapproachable. It is strange. Your own mother is unapproachable. That is the paradox of spirituality. You come from there, but you cannot reach there. We cannot reach where we came from. We cannot reach where we came from. We can only understand what this coming is all about. This coming is all about me. I reach there when I am not. I reach there when the effort to reach is dropped.
Can we say I cannot reach where I am?
I cannot reach where I am. So I can only reach to some other place and wonder and keep wondering, why am I lost? Jnana adhishthanam matrika. Knowledge comes from there, but knowledge will not take you there. The K Upanishad says, that is the ear of the ear, the eye of the eye, the mind of the mind, the tongue of the tongue. Ears will not hear him, though he makes the ear hear. Mind cannot think of him, though all thought proceeds from his energy. You can either relish his energy by keeping yourself in thought, which is all very good, and when you feel tired, you can just relax in the mother's arms. Krishna puts it very beautifully in the Gita. He says, Mam Maya, my Maya. You can either come to me directly, or you can keep yourself mired in Maya, which is just another way of coming to me.
Yeah, a long way.
But a very, very long way. An infinitely long way. Mam means mine. He says, even Maya is mine. You can either come to me directly, or you can keep wandering here and there and getting hurt, and cycles and repetitions. And even that will lead you to me, because all this is anyway mine. Even your illusions are mine.
It's so relaxing.
It is so relaxing. So do not think that by going to Maya you are going away from me. You are only going away from me temporarily by creating time. Maya is time. You are only postponing the inevitable. Maya means it will happen tomorrow. Maya means it will happen somewhere else. Maya means it will happen through a method. You have the source as your mother. And who is the mother? Who is her own mother? You have the source as your mother. And who is the mother? Who has no mother? Who is her own mother? That's my stupid definition of God. The one who is his own daddy. The uncaused one, the unborn one. Yoni vargah kala shariram. Yoni vargah kala shariram. The source and the manifestation, the progeny, and the material, the body, and the actions of the body, the kala, are all one. The source, yoni, refers to the origin of it all. Kala refers to activity, movement. Sharir obviously refers to the body or the material. The source, the material, and the movement, all are one. They can be one only if you stop expecting that the source lies elsewhere. Please understand what is being said. If the source is one with the rock as well as the movement of the rock, then do you need to transform the rock into a temple? If the source is one with all this, then the source is just one with the fact of all this. Then you don't need to have a creator God. Dattatreya beautifully puts it in Avadhut Upanishad. He says, where do I go to salute anybody? Kabir says that Kabir is through with it. Now God is chasing Kabir. Kabir is through with chasing God. Mala phiru na jab karu, muh se kahu na Ram. Neither do I practice with the beads, the mala, nor do I engage myself in any sadhana, tapa or japa, nor do I keep taking the name of Ram. पीछा मेरा हरि करे मैं पाऊं विश्राम. Now God chases me and I just relax. I am not chasing God. You chase God when you think that God is somewhere else. The saint is the one who has stopped chasing God. The general perception is that the saint is the one who is chasing God. No. We are the ones who are chasing God. And where do we chase God? In expectations of the beyond. There has to be something ahead of this.
You are saying that we don't have to do anything to realize God. But a lot of saints, a lot of holy name of God and all that.
I repeat that any guru worth his name will only talk of cessation of activity, not more activity. And if you are coming across somebody who is teaching you more activity, then I heartfully request you to drop that teaching. Be it Bhakti, Advait, other streams of Vedanta, be it Jesus, or the various prophets, or the poets, Hafiz, Mira, Rumi, nobody has ever talked of doing anything.
But you can yourself do something like that.
You anyway are doing much. Are you not doing? Are you not tired of already having done so much and constantly doing so much? You talk of doing as if doing is something new.
You want to instantly all of it come to 1 hour, nothing has happened. Another 1 hour will pass and nothing is going
The doing continues to happen irrespective of your support. Why do you think that you are the mover of the universe? If I don't do anything, then nothing will happen. Doership is an illusion. You are not the doer. Why do you keep believing? When you stop, then great activity happens. The Upanishads say that not moving, it is faster than the fastest.
And if I am not doing things, then okay, things are here in this skin, I am the doer. Outside this skin, I am not the doer. But this also a great happening. It takes many. It's not
Are you
just
the
a
doer?
joke.
Stop your heart, please. Inside of you, as you tell. Stop your heart. You are the doer.
Not just
Inside of
Respond
you.
to this. Respond to this.
I'm
Stop
saying-
your heart, please. Oh, so you're not the doer.
Doership is an idea. You want to believe that you are the doer so that you can take credit and feel good about yourself. That's all.
Okay, I mean that I'm pointing toward if you will make it more, it's like that, it's an intellectual discussion. If you make it something like that, we start really enjoying life, forgetting all about this Vedanta, Advaita and all of this stuff. And really living life.
What do you mean by that? Living life.
Living life, I'm not realizing like a Buddha consciousness. I'm just living life.
So let's live life.
Down to earth.
Yes, down to earth. Live life.
But yeah, it's like each one of us is required to participate in it.
So participate.
Then you should also be a doorway to it, that you are not like sitting
Who says that your doership enables participation? Your doership only blocks participation.
Even if I get out of here, it's not going to happen here anyway.
Participation is happening. You are blocking it. Get out.
Doesn't mean whether I stay here or I get out here, and I was not here yesterday.
What does here mean? Does here mean this physical location? What does here mean? This physical location? These coordinates? That is the meaning of here? What is the meaning of here? What does it mean to be here? Here means God. Here means truth. When you say here and now, what you mean is that you are in God. To be here and now means being in God, which in turn means not being in yourself.
You mean that it's easier than life.
Yes, that's what the Quran says. One of the verses says something precisely like this. that let me ease you into the easiest. The moment you make it tough by asking for a how to or method or a route, that is when you are becoming godless. It is so easy that you keep missing it.
Then if I accept it, that is bound to happen. Even if it happens, it doesn't happen.
Yes. Now you know. The only thing that you can really know is that knowledge is useless.
Why do we see that so-called simplicities as something so complicated?
Because complications have given us a lot of material comforts. When all your material comforts come from complex things, like a vehicle, like a building, like an organized structure of society, like organized institutions of living, then you start having a fear of the simple. The one who lives in the simple has a general distaste of the complex. He then won't say that he needs the most sophisticated of gadgets to make his life worthwhile. Complications, the complex, the product of thought, has given us a lot of material progress. And that is why we have become so afraid of simplicity.
But in the Zen, you know that I know your thing, and you will go on saying you are the same consciousness. But in the Zen master takes 40 years and 50 years to make. But it's also, it's effortless effort. They go on letting the same thing reminding for 40 years, the same emphasis. Just the one thing, you are that consciousness, but they take...
For 40 years, the Zen practitioner practices not to practice.
So it's like a constant effort, water falling on the same place.
He looks at effortlessness. The master keeps on sending him back till the time he insists on doing something. That is the essence of Zen, non-doership.
But true doing. Non-doing, true doing.
Non-doing through?
Doing.
Through doing. Yes.
Cultivation. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes.
So that doing is anyway always happening. You are not really required to meddle with it. That is Zen. The hand, you know that famous koan, right? Lot of Zen masters have been archers. So the hand stretches the bow, the arrow leaves by itself, the target gets hit by itself, and that is Zen. And when you say that I have to pick it up and I will hit, then you are also saying last time I failed and this time if I hit, then I'll be proving a point. And then what happens? The arrow misses.
Okay, in Gita, Krishna says, Arjun, Mami comes around. Come to fight.
And who is Krishna? The person who is standing in front of Arjun. When he says, Sarudharma Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraj, what he is saying is, forget all your man-made religions. Man-made religions is the duties that you have given to yourself. Remember shame. He is saying, forget shame.
I think I was fed up totally with Arjun.
Totally leave everything. Sarva dharma, all that you think that is essential for you, paritajya, drop it and come only to me. Mamekam sharanam. Only me. Ma mekam ekam. Only me.
Okay. So you are the, it's like you are a burning candle and we are all not burning candle. So things are...
No models. Because whenever there would be a model, it will have its limits. Go directly into relaxation.
So how you look at us?
You are wearing this color, sitting here, holding this pen, all the ordinary things that you are doing. I do not look at you in any special way. I don't think that you are God the Father, nor do I think that you are consciousness personified. I don't even think that you are a bundle of evil. Just as this is a body, this too is a body. Now that is so disappointing because that is so simple.
Yes, it is.
You expected some great divine statement. I don't have any.
Yes, I know you are zero. Zero is not in there.
Anybody here who believes I am zero? I'll file a lawsuit the next time you say I am zero. Nothing about me is zero. My weight.
Not expectation about us.
No, I have great expectations. If you go from here still confused and muddled, I'll be disappointed. I have expectations. I have expectations. I get hurt and I feel bad.
Okay.
And I experience pain and I suffer.
Let me say something.
Yes.
That it's muddled, being muddled headed is coming out of, we are not living, letting ourselves live.
Wherever it is coming from, if it happens, I feel bad. I get attracted, I get repulsed. I want to buy something, I don't want to buy something.
I remember to be a childlike simple all the time, but I cannot manage it. I just simply...
I also cannot manage many things. I cannot, I'm overweight. I want to lose at least 5 kgs, I can't manage that.
But you could manage if you were intelligent.
Yes, I'm not intelligent, I'm stupid.
Oh, it's not all about intelligence.
It is not about intelligence, it is not about foolishness, it is about nothing. I'm just as you are. Why must you want to put something special somewhere? If you are stupid, I am stupid. If you are intelligent, I am intelligent. If you are conditioned, I too am conditioned. You eat, I too eat.
That doesn't make me enlightened like you.
What?
I'm going to be myself.
Yesterday, they made me sit there by the beach. I got a semi-cold today. Now what kind of enlightened man it is?
Enlightenment is the detachment. I'm not the...
I don't have any detachment. I'm greatly attached.
I have a question. You said you want to lose weight, and now I'm like, why?
I want to lose weight because I want to look good. in the eyes of others.
What's wrong in it? What's wrong in it?
You tell me, because you expect that the enlightened one should not be expecting, not be suffering.
Make it a clear distinction that you are enlightened and no one is here, and still you are one with them.
When exactly? Answer that.
See again.
When exactly?
No, I am not saying you should do that already. You should do. I am not saying you should.
I will not do. I will not do. I will keep insisting that I am very much like you.
By making a model of you, by saying that you are a hero, we are again saying that you are something that we might become in the future, and again expecting that we are being
It is
right now.
an age-old conspiracy. You know what is the conspiracy? The other person is special. That is why he can live like that. I am not special, so I am anyway not going to live like that. So whatever he is saying is not applicable to me. So I'll keep insisting, brother, that you and me are one. And we actually are.
Then why I'm feeling hindrance to say what I want to say?
Because I also feel hindrance. That relieves you of so much, huh? Because all the teachers and gurus have been saying that they are very special and they do not feel any hindrance or attachment or appetite or desire or attraction? I do feel all that.
Dharma.
Not letting yourself be bigger than the truth. Not coming in way of the truth. That is the only dharma. Dharma is not a set of actions. Dharma is absolute non-action.
And literally from Sanskrit, it's
Dharma.
yeah.
It means bearing. To bear. Dharana. To take something on yourself. Now, dharma and ordinary dharana are very different. Ordinarily, when you believe in something, that is called dharana. Dharana is almost like wearing something. Dharana, wearing something. Dharma is about unwearing. Wearing only yourself, that is dharma. What is it that will be me? What is it that will be expressed through me? That is dharma. It is very close to right living and right action. Right action Second sutra says, knowledge is bondage. To know too much is hell.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance does not exist, only knowledge exists. Great knowledge is called ignorance. When you know a lot, then you are called ignorant. There is nothing called ignorance. It is just your knowledge which stands between you and the truth, and hence it is called ignorance. Never think that ignorance exists. Only knowledge exists. And an abundance of knowledge is called ignorance. You will never meet an ignorant man. You will only meet a man too stuffed with knowledge. And he will be the most ignorant man you can ever meet. That is why it is being said that knowledge is bondage. How does this sutra show up in our daily life? Knowledge is bondage.
Because we see everything with that knowledge, which is social things and only one way of thinking, and not being open to what is the facts, because everything is.
Do we see that we want to convert everything into knowledge? Would you continue to love somebody or anybody if you lose all knowledge about him or her? Knowledge is memory. Knowledge is past. Knowledge is all the shared moments and attachments. If you lose all of them, if all that memory is wiped out from your brain, would you still continue to return to that person?
No.
We don't know.
We don't know. It depends.
Not if your love was conditional. No.
We don't know.
But if you have unconditional love, yes.
I'm not talking about ifs. I'm talking about what would happen.
No. Because she would be a stranger. They'd be a stranger.
So even that which we call as our love is knowledge dependent, memory dependent. No memory, no love.
No, not true. Not true. Just a minute ago we were talking about a child getting beaten. You would intervene and you would feel love and compassion in your heart for that.
Continuing this example itself. Continuing this example. Here on one side is your own child and you have knowledge and memory of that. There on the other side is the child of your sworn enemy and you have knowledge and memory of that. To which side would you go to save? Oh, not true.
No, I understand what you mean.
Yes. So even our
Creates a different situation.
this situation is life. These decisions are life. Our own child is warm in the blanket and the child of the beggar is shivering outside. Do we give them the same treatment? I'm talking about life.
No.
Do we give them the same treatment?
No.
So even our love is conditional. Who are we to talk of unconditional love? There was a news report. A mother was with her newborn child since an year. After almost an year, the hospital informed her that her child had gotten swapped with another child. Now for this 1 year, she had been showering this kid with all the so-called motherly love. The moment this knowledge comes to her, that her own biological child is somewhere else, she drops this one and fetches that one. Now is the love conditional?
Yes.
Of course.
Is the love not dependent on body, memory and knowledge? Who are we to say anything about unconditional love?
We don't know it about. Mind doesn't
Our
know
limited
it.
mind can't have this experience.
Yesterday we were singing songs. He sang something that pertained to his nationality. They sang something which came from their national language. He sang something which came from his language. His language, his context, his memories, his attachments. Do you really feel that same excitement when some other nation's national song is played? Who are we to talk of unconditional love? But not only do we not know what is unconditional love, we also have knowledge that unconditional love is great. And because we want to believe that we are great, so we want to believe that our love is unconditional. You see how knowledge operates? We have the knowledge, some book told us that true love is unconditional. Now I want to believe that my love is true. So I'll insist that my love is, and all of this is coming from knowledge. The sage is advising, knowledge is bondage. Can you please operate a little free of all that which you know, of all that which has accumulated within?
There could be some scientific way to let it go.
And science is all?
No, I'm not.
So there must be a knowledgeable way to get rid of knowledge.
I don't think people are so intelligent like Ashtavakra, like Janak, will drop things.
When Vasugupta or Ashtavakra states something, he states only to someone like himself. To be even more accurate, an Ashtavakra speaks only to Ashtavakra. So when he is saying this and putting these things in your hand, he is absolutely certain that the real you, that the only you, is as intelligent as the expression of these sutras. So never for a moment say that it is beyond us, that we are too small in front of it. If we are too small in front of it, then we have no business holding it in our hands.
Real consciousness, realizing itself as consciousness, intellectual ways are good. But I know that what you are saying for
He knows. And knowledge is?
Bondage.
Please know a little less. You said that you doubt. Please doubt first of all yourself, your knowledge.
How to know less? Because every day we have experiences and it gets storage in the memory and we accumulate more and more.
Yes. And right when it is happening, see and say that happened once again. It happened once again. Darkness, when seen, remains darkness no more. Because if it is truly dark, how you would have seen? See, accept, acknowledge, and all too quickly, all too subtly, all without thought, all without calculation, all without bothering for consequences, all very unreasonably and madly.
But it's happening if life manages it.
Hmm?
Life manages it.
Otherwise, there would be losses. Otherwise,
Life manages very slightly.
what do you mean by life manages it? You are the manager and controller and doer. Aren't you?
I have the same question because I don't get like how really to do that. Like, let's say I'm in India. Every day I walk in the street and I see that the people in the scooties, that they kind of horn when they pass by. So now after a few days I have this imprint in me that in India that's the way it's happening. That's a new knowledge. That's a kind of conditioning in a way.
Yes.
How I prevent myself from absorbing that?
That knowledge is there. Now, what do you mean by its absorption?
Then it means that
You too start
when
honking.
also when I come to India, I expect that to happen.
So you expect that to happen. That is still knowledge. That will happen. Whether or not you expect. But what do you mean by its absorption?
I probably will be surprised if it's not happening.
And if it is not happening, then you feel something unusual.
Yes. Yes.
And you have absorbed it all the more if you yourself start honking
Yes.
unreasonably. Now, must that happen? Is it not possible to live in middle of disease yet live free of disease? That is what is meant by living free of knowledge. Because knowledge will come. Eyes will open and see. These ears will hear. This mind will think. Information is streaming into you constantly from all sides. That's what these senses do. Now, is it possible that you are in a hospital where everybody is diseased, but you are healthy? It is possible. It is possible. That is the spiritual life. To be in the thick of disease and yet be healthy. Yet be healthy.
Yes. Okay.
What we call as love in our life is absolutely conditional love. But the danger comes when we expect the conditional love to be unconditional.
Nice, very nice. So, if it is conditional, does it deserve condemnation? No. It only deserves acknowledgement. I'm not a smaller man because this love is conditional. Of course, it is conditional. It is conditional. When you start labeling the limited as the limitless, it is then that you will miss out on the limitless. It is when you start labeling ordinary attraction as love, then you will totally miss out on love. So if it is conditional, it's all right. It is conditional. It is conditional. It is conditional. Full stop. Does it mean it is bad? Does it mean that I'm a smaller man?
Most of us, yes.
No, not that, not that. So the spiritual mind resists itself from stepping forth and concluding.
Yes.
It says it is raining. It doesn't say it is awful. It's raining. It's just raining. It may even say it is awful, but then it doesn't absorb that awfulness and become awful itself. First of all, it would want to not to name the happening. And even if it names the happening, it will not internalize the name. Internal, there is only the Atman. When you internalize anything else, then you have covered the truly internal Atman with that which you have internalized. The only internal one is the Atman. When you internalize anything else, then you have made the Atman identical with what you have internalized. Now there will be confusion. Now there will be suffering. So never internalize anything. Let everything be here. Internally, just a pure void. A full void. Shiva Sutras are the basic canonical aphorisms of Advaita. They come from a 9th century sage called Vasugupta from Kashmir. Very brief, very succinct. They contain everything that there is to the understanding of non-duality. The first sutra says, Chaitanyam Atma. Consciousness is the self. If we go carefully into this one, this sutra alone, the first one alone, would open up everything that deserves to be known about self-inquiry. It will open up the beginning, the end, and also the method of self-inquiry. What does it say? Consciousness is the self. You will have to keep coming along with me. If I am an active speaker, you will have to be an active listener, an active listener. I like it when we all move together.
Excuse me, where did these verses come from?
They come from a 9th century sage from Kashmir, Vasugupta. But even he did not say that they come from him. He said he does not know where they come from.
Is it in a book?
Huh?
Have a name?
Shiva Sutras. Shiva Sutras. That's it. That's it. Now this surprises us because we do not expect a serious work to be 2 pages. If it is important, if it is serious, and if it is as all-encompassing as I mentioned, then we expect that it must have a certain volume, a certain gravity. Not only the Shiva Sutras, Upanishads like Cain and Ish, or Atma Puja Upanishad, they are all so concise. Yes, so we are talking about the first sutra, and it says, consciousness is the self. It must be remembered that when a sage, a seer, uses words, he does so just out of necessity of communication. He is trying to use words to express that which words cannot usually express. So he is emptying the word of its usual meaning and trusting it with a transcendental meaning. Hence, it would be an obvious mistake to take the words of a sage and attribute to them the dictionary meaning. When the sage says air, sky, water or ocean, he does not mean the air, the sky, the water, the ocean. We said, first of all, we have to see that it is out of sheer compulsion that he has to use words. He is using words because we can hear only words. Could we listen to his silence, he wouldn't have needed to use words. So he is using words, but not in their usual sense. Never. Let us never make the mistake of interpreting the words of a seer in our normal worldly way. What do we mean when we say consciousness? What do we mean when we say consciousness?
Waking state. Waking state.
The waking state. When we say consciousness, what we mean is the perception that there is the universe and there is the me. If you cannot perceive things, if you cannot perceive the universe, then you will not say that you are conscious. And because we are what we are, we have taken consciousness as the consciousness that we experience. That is what is ego-centered behavior. What is our consciousness? Consciousness is the content of mind. Consciousness is our thoughts, ideals, emotions, feelings, relationships. What is our consciousness? Our consciousness is doubt, fear, convictions, beliefs, attachments, imaginations, effort, attainment, beginning, end. That is what we call as consciousness. In the language of spirituality, all of that is not consciousness at all. What we call as consciousness is the interference of I in the facts of life. That is what we refer to as consciousness. And if we take that to be consciousness, then we would be misled into believing that Vasugupta is saying that ego is the self. Because he is saying consciousness is the self. And if consciousness means our consciousness, then our consciousness is an ego-centered consciousness, an I-centered consciousness. We look at the world as we are. We are greatly attracted to that which has a meaning to us. We are repelled by that which we have been taught to dislike. So man's consciousness is not pure consciousness at all. If a sage would look at the expanse of our consciousness, he would say, this is so mechanical. Why do you even call it consciousness? Why do you even label yourself as conscious? You are not conscious at all. To be conscious means to know. And to really know, you must be free of the blockage to knowing. You yourself, what you take yourself to be, are the biggest blockage to knowing. You don't really know. Let me present an example. As I am speaking right now, all of us would say that we are conscious of the words of the speaker. Right? You will say you are conscious of what I am saying, and you are conscious of the fact that you are hearing. And I have spoken hardly for 10 minutes or so. But if I say, let's write down what I have said, all of us would write down different things. Now, as a matter of fact, the speaker has not been talking of different things at all. Speaker has been centered around the one. But when we would write down what has been said, what we have been conscious of as the audience, we will write down very different things. In fact, we would be surprised by how much our narrative differs from our neighbor's narrative. You would feel like asking yourself, are the two of us attending the same session? Are the two of us listening to the same speaker? That is what is meant by an impure consciousness. The I is interfering with the listening, interfering in two ways. First, it is blocking everything that is a potential threat to it. Second, it is projecting much that it wants to project, that it would find as an enabler to its continuation. So even though we say that we are conscious of what is going on, the fact might be that we know nothing of what the speaker is saying. And it is such a great joke that even after a session lasting hours, we may go back having listened to nothing, having heard much and listened nothing. And if that might be happening in these couple of hours, it is obvious that that keeps happening throughout the run of our life. We believe that we know what is happening. We believe that we are conscious of what is going on. But the fact is that a very thick wall separates the happening, the existence from us. That separation is defined as the ego. When the sage speaks, he speaks from the heights of his being. When he says consciousness, he means a consciousness free of interference. He will not even say pure consciousness because he does not know any impure consciousness. We keep on talking of pure consciousness. We keep on talking of real love. What do we mean by real love? We must use words like real love because there is much unreal love in our lives. We keep on talking of the transcendental reality. Why? Because what we usually call as reality is not reality at all. And if we be really honest, then we must not call the reality as transcendental. We must call the reality just as reality, and that which we know as reality as totally unreal. Do you see what we do? We say consciousness, and then we say pure consciousness. Now, if consciousness is consciousness, what is the need for calling something as pure consciousness? If joy is joy, what is the need for calling something as absolute joy? If love is love, thank you, what is the need to call something as real love? It only indicates that with us there is much that is not absolute, not pure, and not real. Pure consciousness is called awareness. Pure consciousness is about just living in the facts. We live in perceptions and imaginations. We live within a self-created circle. That circle is what we call as the domain of our consciousness. At the center of the circle, we sit. The ego sits. When the sage says consciousness, he simply means the facts. The facts. The common man lives at the level of imagination. Higher than that is the level of facts. And these are the only two levels possible to the mind. The level of projection and self-centered imagination, and the level of impersonal facts. These are the only two things possible to the mind. Proceeding from here, the sage is saying the second level itself is the Atman. He is saying two things parallelly now. First, we live at the first level, the commoners, what we call as the well-adjusted worldly man. He lives at the first level, which is the level of assumptions and beliefs and imaginations. That is the first thing. Second thing that he is saying is, there is no level beyond the second level. Please be with this. He is saying that the mind is only two levels. One, that level where there is much I. That level where there is the fear and insecurities of ego and its desperate efforts to protect itself. And then there is the second level, the level of facts. And there is no third level. Usually, we believe that there indeed is a third level. We call that third level as the level of holiness, as the level of truth, as the domain of God, as pure and absolute reality. He is saying no, nothing like that really exists. There are only two levels, and the second level itself is the third. Do we see that he is suggesting the one and only method of self-inquiry? He is saying the second itself is the third. In a sense, he is saying that pure mind itself is the Atman. That pure mind itself is the self. Put differently, he is saying that facts are the door to truth. If you live in facts, that is sufficient. Consciousness itself shows up, shines as the Atman. But that consciousness must be real consciousness, not adulterated consciousness. Just live in the facts. Do not try other methods, tapasya or sadhana. Just know what is. Just know how you are sitting. Just know why you are in a physical particular posture. Just know why you are writing down certain things specifically and omitting others. Just know why you wake up with a certain thought. Just know why particular sights, sounds and phone numbers turn you off. Just know the facts and you are home. The second is the third. Facts are so proximate to the truth that if you are living in facts, then you are not at all away from the truth.
What do you mean by living in fact? What do you mean by fact?
So you are asking this question. The fact is that even as this question arises, I know from where it is arising. The question might be pure inquiry. I'm really sincere about knowing, and so I'm asking. And the question could also be self-defense. Living in facts means really and honestly knowing what is going on. Not letting my fear come in the way of my awareness.
You mean being present? Is that what you mean?
I mean not being biased. I mean not being present. If you are present, then you will interfere. If you are there, then you will poke your nose. So I mean don't be there. When you are not there, then only the facts are there. When you are there, then a picture of facts is there. And the picture that we create is always a distorted picture. So I'm not talking of presence, because we can never be present. Only the present can be present, and the present is the Atman. It is not about being present, it is about being absent.
Is fact the same as awareness?
Awareness is about the absence of thought, the absence of the need to interfere with the facts. You see, what we normally call as consciousness is a thinking consciousness. What we normally call as consciousness is an active consciousness, a consciousness that wants to do something, reach somewhere, protect something, destroy something, a consciousness that has a goal in mind. Awareness is a passive consciousness. Awareness is a consciousness that is settled, that has no need to...
I don't understand fact. Sorry, I don't understand fact.
So, when you say that you do not understand fact, this may be a very innocent expression that you cannot quite comprehend what I am saying. There might be another one who is not really getting what I am saying, but then he may say, you cannot explain facts. Do you see this? If I want to defend myself, suppose the question is coming from an insecure mind. Would the insecure mind say that it cannot understand? What would it say? He'll say the speaker is unable to explain. Do you see how the need for self-protection has interfered with what is going on? The fact is, the simple and direct, obvious fact is, you didn't understand. And it is all right. It is so very all right. But if I'm insecure about my image in front of the audience, then what will I tell the speaker? What will I tell the speaker? Oh, you could not quite explain it to me. Now, that is projection. That is the need to defend yourself. That is a thinking consciousness. Okay, it is like this. You see, sitting over here, is it possible to just look at that tree and not even call it a tree? That is awareness. But when you look at that tree, and that tree reminds you of the tree in your own backyard in your country, and that reminds you of what your husband or daughter or neighbor is doing, and that reminds you of the unpaid bills, and that reminds you of the hurt of the past, then that is a thinking and active consciousness. And there is another consciousness that looks at the tree and cannot even name it as a tree. It is just looking at that. At what? Nothing. If you ask, what are you looking at? Nothing. So it has a very empty glance, almost like that of an idiot. The eyes are not full of intention and meaning. The eyes are totally blank. And that is the eye of the saint. India has often said that the saint looks so much like a child and even like an idiot. That is because he does not throw meanings at things. If he doesn't get food, he will not say, I didn't get food, I am so unfortunate. If he didn't get food, he says, I didn't get food. If he didn't get food, he won't say that the world has conspired against him. If he doesn't get food, he will not say, will I get food tomorrow? No, he just says, I didn't get food. No food. Neither will it lead to an activation of memories, nor will it lead to the projection of a future. And the fact will have no impact on his self-concept and self-worth. I didn't get food. Now, does that mean that I'm inferior? Does that mean I'm unlucky? Does that mean I'm cursed? No, none of that. Does that mean I'm wonderful? Does that mean I'm the son of God? No, not even that. That is awareness, pure consciousness. The same thing has been expressed as a Mahavakya of the Upanishads. It says, Prajnanam Brahm. Same thing. Here it is being said, Chaitanyam Atma. There it is said, Prajnanam Brahm. Prajnan is awareness and Brahm is truth. Awareness is truth. And the same thing is being said here. In fact, Vasugupta has gone a step ahead. He is not even saying awareness. He is just saying consciousness. By just saying consciousness, he is making a very strong statement. His statement is in fact an insult to most of us. He is saying consciousness is to be called consciousness only if it is pure consciousness. That which you call as consciousness is just mechanical, robotic, impure movement. I won't even call it consciousness. He is saying that consciousness is a sacred word. It cannot be used lightly. When you are angry and shouting at someone, are you really conscious? When you are in the flow of emotions or greed or lust, are you really conscious? When you are walking on the street, you feel that you know that you are walking on the street, but do you really know what is happening? First of all, he is saying that is not consciousness. And when you are conscious, then that is the truth. That is the self. That is the Atman. Then you are identical with God. That is what the saints have meant when they have said that could you know what is all around and within you, you will only see God. By that they do not mean that you will start seeing a special figure somewhere. By that they do not mean that you will start experiencing a certain feeling in the heart. By that they only mean that you will continue to see the bird as the bird, the tree as the tree, the road as the road, the sound as the sound, but then the bird will be just the bird. Not bird plus something, not bird minus something. Then the tree will be just the tree. Not tree plus something, not tree minus something.
Why is it so important?
It is so important because that which is blocking you is also your suffering. So it is important only to you. When it is being said that consciousness is important, not blocking facts is important, you must ask, for whom is it important? It is important to you. It is important to you because you are the one who suffer when this blockage happens. If there is no suffering, is there any need for any spirituality or self-inquiry? All self-inquiry begins with a recognition of a restlessness within. And that restlessness is nothing but the wheel on the consciousness, the wheel on the eyes. That is why the saints have been so frequently using the expression, wake up, wake up, wake up. No, don't you feel like asking? I wake up every morning. And why are the saints so insistent on saying wake up? Don't you wake up every morning? So why are they saying wake up? They are saying wake up because what you call as waking up every morning is just the changing of one dream into another. In the night you were dreaming and now you are dreaming again. The saints are saying you have not woken up at all.
Restlessness also leads to progression.
What you call as progression is needed only because you are restless. Are you saying the medicine has an absolute value? Would you worship a medicine? A medicine is needed only because, first of all, you are sick. And here, progress is a fake medicine because no amount of progress ever leads to an easing off of your restlessness. In fact, the more you progress, the more you feel like progressing. I call this need to progress, this ambition, as the false water that is quenching a false thirst. First of all, the restlessness is something false. And then one is using false methods to quench a false thirst. Mankind has made enough progress over the last 5,000 years. With all this progress, do you see a reduction in inner restlessness? Or do you project that there would be a point where material progress would reach one day, when there would be no need to know the mind, when the mind would be settled and composed on its own just by looking at the great inventions, technologies, and the wonders of economics? What we call as progress is a disease of the mind. The saint has no need for any progress, for progress always belongs to the future. And the saint is the one who has quit the future. Does any progress belong to this moment? This moment is just what it is. Progress means I will reach there tomorrow or day after or 10 centuries later.
So when you say that there are two levels of the mind, like when the second level is sustained, then there is no more, the first is gone.
First is gone and third is also gone because the third is the second. At the second, the above and the below are both gone.
But it still can be together at the same time while you are not sustained in the second, or how is that?
When you are in the second, you are living in the fact. And when you are living in the fact, then you also know that you are imagining. The fact of the moment is that I am lost in imagination. This ceaseless knowing of the fact is called witnessing. One does not really go anywhere. One just becomes subservient to two. So while one would imagine, one would ideate, but one would know that what I am in right now is an imagination, my personal imagination, not a fact of the moment. And when you really know that, then imagination loses its control, power and venom.
And this level of the mind is a kind of tool, or like
It is your natural state. It is your natural state. It is not a tool to attain something. Had it been a tool, then three, the Atman, the center, would have been distinct from it. It is your natural state. See, living in facts does not mean thinking about facts. Living in facts does not mean taking names, providing definitions, coming to conclusions. The mind is anyway doing all of that all the time. Living in facts means that it is known that all of this is happening. And as all of this is happening, I am just the knower. So there are the three states of mind. And living in facts means knowing all the three states. All the three states are facts. A dream is a fact. When it is on, a dream is very much a fact, is it not? Have you ever called your dream a dream in the dream?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
In the dream, you know that you are the horse.
But it happens in the life when we have a very great shock. This conscious life looks like a dream.
Yes. So those shocks are then not really shocks. Those shocks are acts of grace. If anything exposes that one is living in the middle of a dream, then we better not call it a shock. We call then it a gift. Is the first sutra clear? We must not go to the second one till we are one with the first.
He said facts and not the seer of facts. Just facts. Because for me, facts is still within my.
There can be no fact without the seer of the fact. Can there be a fact? Would you be able to talk about the fact if there is no seer? It is just that that seer is not the same as the seer in level 1. The seer in level 1 is the person, the me. The seer in level 2 is an absence. That absence is called the witness.
How can you see if you're absent?
Then you do not see. Seeing sees. See, why are you asking this question? You are asking this question because usually whenever we have seen, we have seen. Whenever you have seen, you have seen. So when I am using the word see, you are assuming that I am referring to same kind of seeing that you have been experiencing till now. No, I am not referring to that kind of seeing. For that kind of seeing, you will have to be present as the seer. I am talking of another kind of seeing which happens when you are not there. Let's take a current example. As I am speaking, you can listen and understand only if you are not there. Your understanding of what is happening right now will happen only in your absence. If you are present, then you will be present and understanding will be absent. So who is the one who is understanding right now? Your absence is understanding right now. You can very quickly bring in your presence. How? Your mobile phone rings. Your wife is calling. Now you are present. Now you have come back. Huh? You were totally immersed in the session, lost. And suddenly the mobile phone starts buzzing. And now you are again back. And when you are back, the session is? When you are back, then the session is over for you. It is your absence that really listens, that really sees, that really understands. Not your presence.
Yeah, now I realize I can't understand you because I try to associate what you say with something I know.
Yes.
And so it's not happening.
Yes. And the moment you try to integrate what I am saying with your existing knowledge, you will distort what I am saying. That is what is called as I-centric behavior. Essentially, you are saying, there is something that I already know. And because I am worthy, knowledgeable, wise and smart, so what I already know must be true. Now what you as speaker are saying sounds all right, so I'll try to adjust this to what I already know. I cannot reject what I know. I cannot reject what I know, because if I reject what I know, I'll actually be rejecting myself. I'll not reject it. Instead of rejecting that, I will assimilate this into that. And the moment you do that, you have corrected the fact. And we keep on corrupting the fact.
I think that confusion arises because different teachings use the same words. It could be the opposite of things. When you say you are present, I understand you're talking about the false self, the filter of interpretation which distorts. But what you're saying is one's absence is what other teachings might express as your true self. And so the confusion of the mixing of terms.
The thing is that no teacher, no scripture of any worth has ever called us as present. I do not know from where is this neo definition coming. All the teachers have always said that only the self is present. Only the self. You can never be present.
But when other teachings say be present.
Which teachings?
Eckhart Tolle. But when he says presence, to my mind, that's synonymous with what you're saying is awareness.
The moment you say I will be present, you are saying the ego has the power to be present. That is such an ego-centered statement. And that is why you will be a bestseller. Because you are you're helping the ego like itself.
Like he said, what do we define as I?
Go to the fact of your life, Shiva. Go to the fact of your life. What do you call as I? When you say I am coming.
Well, this is the importance of defining your terms. Is I the ego or is I the...
It is. You don't need to define. You very well know. When I say you, what do you mean? When you say I, in which direction do you point?
Physical body. The body and mind.
So it is certain that when we say I, all that we mean is the ego.
The man has said I, to mean that I beyond the I.
So I. There is something there to indicate that it is not your I. But when it is said you can be present, then it is quite misleading. When it is said that you are absolute bliss, God, Brahman and the final truth, then it is just an inflation of the ego. You are none of that. You are just your suffering and the wounds and the pus that is coming out of them. But that sounds so humiliating.
Can anybody live without consciousness?
Do we live with an corrupted consciousness?
So it is consciousness.
It is consciousness if you are alive. Is it not possible that what we call as being alive is not even life? And it is just to maintain our sense of worth that we keep on saying we are alive. What I'm asking you separates us from the machines that we call as not alive. When you say that we are alive, and consciousness is so related to this thing called being alive, right? You say that living beings have consciousness. Now, what is it that we call as being alive? This breathing, eating, walking, thinking. You can have a sufficiently advanced machine that can do all of these. It can even make love. It can have emotions. It can even die. You can program it to die after a time. So, why are you proceeding from the assumption that we are in fact alive? Maybe life is something that is just a potential to most of us. Maybe we haven't really yet taken birth. Maybe we are here just to be born. Why are you assuming that we are already alive? Huh?
We were told so.
We are told so by those who thought that they were alive. And we were so much like them. And if they are alive, they must tell us that we are alive, because if we are not alive, then it is proven that they too are not alive. Spirituality is not about taking things blindly at face value. It is about really having the courage to stand the fact of anything, even if it is distasteful.
What makes a person alive?
The person can never be alive. The person is just a machine. There is nothing in the person that you can call as distinct from a machine. You call this as the person, you call this as the person. There is nothing in any of this which is any different from an instrument, an equipment, a machine.
What makes us going forward to become a person?
We are already persons. We are persons already. Persons we already are. Life is something different. Life is when you are not self-contained, when you are not programmed. Are we not programmed to walk away from places that we do not like? Now, are you alive? If you start feeling insulted at every small barb and you get away, walk away, are you alive? Oh, the machine is programmed. Humiliation is equal to, yes, next line, get up, gather your luggage, walk down the stairs, disappear. Now, are you alive? Are you alive? Somebody has written this code for you. That somebody could be evolution, that somebody could be your parents, society, religion, education, anything. Somebody has written the code and you are living as per the code. Are you alive? Somebody has written the code that you must marry, you must have kids, a family, you must go to holy places. When you start feeling really...
We are potentially alive because we can reprogram ourselves.
Yes, but the potential is so distinct from what we have made of ourselves. What we have made of ourselves, can that really be called as life? And if we call that as life, then the potential will remain potential. The first step is to see that this is not that. And when you see that this is not that, then you have suddenly arrived close to that.
And what makes us see that it is not that?
We don't like it. We don't like it. It's as simple as that.
No, there must be something.
Suffering, our own suffering.
There must be a force that brings you forward.
Just your suffering. The force makes you suffer. If you are not...
Force can bring us forward also.
The force can bring us?
Also forward.
Forward meaning where?
To see.
To see the force itself?
No, to see that we are suffering.
You don't have to see that you are suffering. Are you not already suffering?
No.
If you say that, see, if a suffering mind, go into this, if a suffering mind tries to see that it is suffering, then it is assuming that it has the power to really know. And had it had the power to really know, why would it be suffering? Suffering itself means that you do not know what is going on. And if you do not know what is going on, how will you know the fact of suffering?
How will you come out of this?
We'll go into that. Maybe the moment you ask this, how do I come out of this? You have already gone into a prohibited area. Maybe just constant acknowledgement that this is suffering is enough.
And where is this coming from?
For the sufferer, it is coming just from the suffering. It would be very easy for me to say it is coming from grace or God or...
Acknowledgement. The acknowledgement.
The acknowledgement is coming from the depth and intensity of his suffering. You are compelled to accept that you are suffering.
But there must be a force that makes you...
The very same force that makes you suffer.
Yeah, and the same force makes you acknowledge?
That you cannot say, because had you been acknowledging that force, you wouldn't have been suffering in the first place.
So where's the way out?
The way out is to just see that you are suffering.
From where is this coming from?
It is coming from the same place from where this question is coming.
And what do you name it?
There is no need to name. It is coming.
I call it consciousness.
If you call it consciousness, then you must not call all of that consciousness which you normally live in. If in this moment you are conscious, then call only this as consciousness. Then do not call all the other rubbish as consciousness.
Otherwise, the rubbish cannot exist without consciousness.
No, if this is consciousness, then the rubbish can exist only without consciousness. Because this is not what you are otherwise. And if you are otherwise just what you are right now, then you are already home. If you are conscious right now, then do not call that as consciousness which is happening on the road, by the river, in the ashram, on the yoga mat, in the room. Then none of that is consciousness.
You're saying we are just machines without consciousness or anything.
I'm saying the way we operate is no different from machines.
Okay.
Simple.
Okay.
And no more than that, no less than that.
Okay. And what brings us out? This is my neck.
Does any machine ever say that it is a machine?
It can maybe when it's acknowledged that it is a machine.
Can you ever design such a machine? Please do that. A machine that really knows that it is a machine.
There is a link. What's not explained? A link. How you come.
That link,
Yeah.
that and the desire to explain that link is what is called as the ego.
What's
You know
beyond the ego?
what is
Beyond the ego?
a dropping of this question?
And who is dropping it?
Just the question itself gets dropped. The ego itself gets dropped.
And who is dropping it?
If there is still a dropper, the dropper is the ego.
And what is behind the dropper?
There is, behind the dropper, there is more of the dropper. So don't talk of behind and dropper and dropping. Till the time you are asking, the ego is asking. The question itself needs to be dropped. And if you cannot drop it, then live with it.
So how is it happening?
If the question continues, then you are continuing.
So is it grace maybe?
You want to give it a name, it is a name that you would give. Why do you want to contain the infinite in your name? Why is the ego so important to you?
There is how you explain it. Sorry, how you explain it is like there is no way out.
No, there is no way out. There is no way out at all. Because if there is a way out, you would be so eager to believe that you can proceed on that way, that it is within your potential to take that way. You must feel totally helpless. You must feel without any power. It is only then that you will surrender. All these questions are just a tactic to not to surrender. All these questions are intended to believe that there is a way out. For whom? For me. So I am so smart that I can figure the way out and then move on it. I don't need to surrender. Where is the question of grace if you are asking for a way? Does grace come on ways appointed by you? Does grace walk on ways built by you? Then why must you talk about ways so much? Just so that you are still in command. Just so that God is still a servant to you. Even if God sends grace, He will send it on my ways. Drop the question. As far as we are concerned, please see that Vasugupta is saying that 2 is 3. Meaning that when you come to the fact of suffering, proceed no more. That is your full stop. Just see that you are stuck. And then don't try for activity or progress or methods or solutions. When you don't try for methods or solutions, then he sends his methods and solutions. That is why there must be no gap between you, the fact, and you, the truth. Just come to the fact and stay there. Now that requires a really surrendered mind, because when we come to the fact, we also quickly want to come to a conclusion and then a plan of action. Have you seen this? The moment you see that something is the way it is, you want to do something about it. We talked of the active consciousness, right? The moment we come to a fact, what do we do with the fact? We do something with the fact. Now that is the ego that wants to do something with the fact. Spirituality consists of coming to the fact and remaining there. No, nothing is to be done. No way, ahead or forward or back or behind, no progress, no here, no there, no future. Just this, and this is it. When you say this is it, you have just said what Buddha called as tathata. This is it. Neither forward nor backward. This is it. And that is consciousness. Living in this. And that is also the real meaning of living in the present. This is this and nothing else. I'm not saying this is bad and hence I want relief from it. I'm not saying this is wonderful, so I want to sustain it.
It's quite difficult to say this is this, because there's many things around me which is this, but I can't, my head can't take all this.
And
so when I say this is this, I'm focusing.
Yes.
By focusing,
and
it's not.
I am focusing and I am focusing. This is it. What is going on? In my limited sense of self, what is going on? I am
limited.
Focusing. And this is it. That doesn't mean that I am worthless. That doesn't mean anything. What am I doing? Concentrating. What am I doing? Dividing. I am dividing. And that is honesty. If you say, I am dividing, but I do not want to divide, that is ambition. If you are saying, I am limited, but I want to be unlimited, that is dissatisfaction. Yes.
So the facts are what we are feeling inside us, what we are doing, what we are feeling, experiencing.
All of this is going on, and all of this is factual. All of this.
Now again, it happens to me again. I'm wondering why I'm here, because I cannot try to hear your word and to find something to do.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Then maybe I should
something to do, at least something to come to.
Yeah.
Some statement to conclude. I heard this, now this is what comes out of it. All right, I heard the speaker. And what do I do with what I heard? No, do nothing. When you do nothing, then great action happens. Then right action happens. Just be alive to the happening. You are the deadness. Don't let the deadness come in between. Just be alive to the happening. I repeat, are we fully one with the first sutra? To the best of your limited capacity?
Yeah. Yes.
So far we have treated it mostly in a theoretical way. Expand it to see what it means to our daily living, please.
It's kind of being stupid. Everything happens, you just see and not.
See how? Like this? No. When the word seeing is used in the spiritual sense, it does not quite mean seeing with the eyes. That is why Shiva is depicted as having
3 eyes.
3 eyes. You have to see with the third eye. These 2 eyes show you only falseness. This eye shows you the truth. If you are seeing only with 2 eyes, you are not seeing at all. You can ask this with respect to these 2 eyes. You see with this eye when you stop asking how to. Every how to is a question of the power of ego. I can do it, now tell me how to do it. Obviously, I have the power to do it. Just tell me how to do it. I'll just now do it. Never ask how to, because you cannot. When you cannot, then it happens. Then it happens.
You're telling us how to right now.
Yes?
You're telling us how to right now.
Yes.
That's your function.
Yes.
I'm not saying all how to questions are pointless.
Huh?
You're saying all how to questions are pointless, right?
Yes, yes.
So if your role is to explain how to, then how can you marry the two?
I do not have any how to give to you. When you have a how to, all I say is it is useless. I do not have any method to give to you. And when you demand a method, all I can say is, I don't have one. And if I do give one, it would be useless. Friend, I am not speaking out of a method, out of some practice or rehearsal. A method is predetermined. You very well know that you have something in your kitty, and when a situation arrives, you can apply that tool. The tool is in the toolbox. The moment that contingency comes, you pull out the tool and you apply it. I have no tools. I have no methods. And so I have all the tools.
But isn't saying stop asking questions, isn't that in itself a method?
No, I'm not saying stop asking questions. I'm saying see where all your questions come from. A question can arise from genuine self-inquiry also. And when a question is such that the answer would embolden the ego, then I point that out. A question is a movement. A question is mental activity. Mental activity could either take you towards the center, if it is diminishing in nature, or it could take you further away from the center if it is increasing further and further. The sign of a good question is that it asks for dissolution. Its own disappearance.
Yeah, I understand. What such a question would be?
I can give an opposite example. I can give an example of a question that extends itself infinitely. Because the dissolution of a question depends not on the question, but on the center from where the question is coming. Any question can dissolve. You could just ask, what was that? And that's all. Or you could ask a question like, what is A? I say A is the dual opposite of B. Then you ask, okay, what is B? I say B has no existence on its own. It is the dual opposite of A. So you ask me, what is A? I say A is that duality which expresses itself as all A's and B's. So you say, okay, what are all A's and B's? I say dual opposites of each other. Say, okay, so what is A and what is B? Now do you see what is happening? This is just that the question is refusing to go away, because if it goes away, then the ego will drop. So this is then not a question. This is then a conspiracy to shield oneself. Questions are wonderful. Questions are beautiful. If questions are an expression of the illusioned mind to move into clarity, they are most beautiful. But a hallmark of such questions is that, as I just said, that they are converging questions. They ultimately come to a point where they don't even need an answer. They just go. So keep asking questions, not stop asking questions. It's upon me to tell you when not to ask. You keep asking. You keep asking because anyway you are asking all the time. What is a question? A question is the perception of a contradiction, of a problem, of a challenge. That's what a question is. Don't we keep perceiving that all the time? We are living in questions, so keep expressing them. Keep expressing them.
Is there any matter to sudden death of the question and the question?
When it gets seen that every question is essentially the same, then you no more feel like asking the next one, because the next one will be the same as the previous one. Why ask anymore? When you see that there are no new questions, then you don't feel like asking the next one. When you feel that now this one is a new one, then you will keep shooting questions.
So it's like that if you that's the questionless, choiceless. I mean that it's you yourself as a consciousness knows it's not going to happen in 2-3 days. But all of people, including me, stop going through and come to the conclusion that I am a consciousness already. I don't need to become one.
Stop. If you really do not know anything, do you also know that it cannot happen in 2-3 days? You see how the ego hides even in harmless statements. You are saying, I am so humble that I have come to accept that for me it cannot happen in 3 days. Now you are saying that I know at least this much. How much?
This much.
This much. And that this much is so much. What are you saying? You are saying, I am so wise that I know that it cannot happen. Drop this knowledge also. Drop even this knowledge. Are we one with the first sutra?